Consciousness. We all possess it, and yet, how exactly does it work? What is the relationship between language and consciousness? What is the relationship between language and sentience? Consciousness. We all possess it, and yet, how exactly does it work? What is the relationship between language and consciousness? What is the relationship between language and sentience? So we started this course looking at the structure of society, and now we're going to examine for at least a little bit of a while the structure of the mind. How language works to create identity and to frame our experience through time. These are all elements of themes in Ted Chiang's The Story of Your Life. So that story is going to take up a good part of your week this week, of our week. Let me bring up the week itself. Now, this video that you are looking at will be the top link to the week 4 area. And the next link that you will see will be a link that says, Open Monday, do Friday. It's now the next link that you'll see. I could move it, but I won't now that I've said it's the next link. I'm torn because it is due Friday, but I definitely need to open it now because there's a bunch of stuff in it. I'm going to open it up and just sort of go over it. Listen, it's a normal forum, but it's rich and there's a lot of links because we really are going to do this Ted Chiang story called Story of Your Life. And again, I don't want to spoil it. I want you guys to get in there and experience it. And that should be the way that you go into. Don't let other people tell you what you're going to walk away with from something. Now, obviously, I had to do a little bit of that with Brave New World, and I told you it was about the structure of society or whatever, and I told you that this story is about consciousness. Well, it is. Would it have hurt if I didn't? No. Would you have figured it out? Yes. So anyway, yeah, it's about consciousness, and it's absolutely beautiful. And you know what? So there's such a rich and meaningful relationship inside of that story. The way Ted Chiang structures it is he bounces back between the relationship between a mother and a daughter. And again, I don't want to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil. I'm just going to say that he features a relationship in there. So one, because it's poignant. It's a very poignant relationship. There's something quite beautiful happening in that relationship. There's a romance that evolves, and yet it's absolutely hard science fiction. The link below the form link that I was just talking about is a link to genres of science fiction, a very simple little article that's in the Wikipedia, and I hope that I have already done my... Listen, Wikipedia is right about 99% of the time. So I'm just saying it's super useful and it saves you a lot of money. So I will go to it. And I really only like to talk definitions when we're going to be using them. I can just tell from your writing that I've seen that we're all at different levels of this thing. I'm going to say the phrase hard science fiction. I just called Ted Chiang's Story of Your Life hard science fiction. Is really hard. And that's the thing. Some of you don't know what that definition means yet. I'll explain it. But some of you might think that it's called hard science fiction because sections of it are hard to understand. It's not called that. It's because of the specificity of detail that it goes into regarding science. And that is a real key feature. And sometimes when we talk about science fiction, people have big arguments over what is science fiction. or what kind of science fiction is that? And that's where a link like this, where we have this genre, all these different genres. And by the way, nobody needs to get impassioned about anything. I'm about to tell you right up, straight up, that Star Wars is not science fiction. And half of you, 75% of you, nobody's crying. Nobody's crying. Even George Lucas himself finally came over, to the notion that it's a space opera, which is basically the same as a soap opera, but set in space. And if we look at the definition of science fiction, where we privilege the impacts of technology on society and the individual, how is it that Star Wars is not that? There's a lot of technology in there. Somebody might say there's all kinds of technology. There's a faster than light drive, and there's lightsabers, and oh boy, blasters. I'm sorry, I almost said something terrible about Star Wars. I don't want to. I was a big fan of it. I know many people are a fan of it. It doesn't change the fact that basically, if you took the entire story and you put it on the Days of Our Lives set, it would still work. You could take all that over there. They don't do anything. There's really no impacts regarding that. I mean, honestly, that second movie of the third set is a detective movie. And please forgive me that I guess that's episode 2, and Obi-Wan has to be a detective and solve a detective thing. There's a dart in it that's super important, and a guy with 4 arms who gives him a clue to go to the end of the universe. It's just a detective story. I did not plan on talking about that particular episode, so if my recollection is not correct, we all love it. We all just love it, no matter what. Anyway, it doesn't hurt it that it's not science fiction. It's definitely not hard science fiction. And I'm not the kind of guy that's going to go splitting hairs about it. What I love is sharing literature with people and getting them turned on to wanting to read it more. So that's where we're at with that. And I'm still talking because there I am. Is the floating head thing super annoying? Because actually I was looking, you guys you could bring up the pages too. I'm not going to do another edit because I'm tired. And you see, the screen is dark because it's late at night. And so that outline of science fiction link is there, and a link that now I do have to pause though. The next link in our week is a link to another Wikipedia article that's called The Themes in Science Fiction. A list of science fiction themes. And it's funny. I actually went over to this page to look for consciousness, because you can't read that story that we're about to read, which is called The Story of Your Life, and not get a profound sense that story, that consciousness, the notion of our own sentience and how we travel through our world is central to it. And I'm like scrolling down that and looking for the specific one. Now, I don't want to spoil the story for you, but obviously the theme that it really talks a lot about is language. But it's, in some sense, the effect of language on consciousness. And it's fantastic. It really is fantastic. And in some sense, and I actually just looked under that area, I just clicked on the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, the hypothesis of linguistic relativity. A part of relativism, also known as the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, is a principle suggesting that the structure of language affects its speaker's worldview or cognition. And this would be sort of the impetus, that sort of the fuel of this story that we're looking at. And so you might be interested. I won't link to the Sapir-Whorf one, but do cruise down and check out that link to the list of genres and explore that language one after, just on your own, just before you're about to answer the questions. Let me get to those other links that we have here. sort of to prepare you for the week. So we have, oh yeah, the open Monday. So even before that genres link and that themes link, I want everybody to, well, obviously you've got to access our materials, and because we're in COVID and quarantine, I provided a lot more materials here. So, but what you'll be doing is you'll be reading. There's a link there. If, by the way, if the link doesn't link for you, if you don't see that, just mouse over things because there's always going to be a link, and I try to write link here. But that first link, The Story of Your Life by Ted Chiang, is going to link to an actual document. And I want you guys to leave some annotations in there. And I've suggested criteria for just that thing of, like 2, 4, 6, depending. But, follow your heart. I want to leave that up to you because I think that you might have questions. You might have more than 2 questions. You might have 7 questions. And your annotations could be questions. They could be pointing us places. They could be links to songs. Share. I say we have fun as we do this. So also I've included in our Friday forum assignment, here's an audio version to listen to while you read and annotate link here. Why have I done that? I have done that not because I don't think you can read. I have done that because of quarantine, because I know how hard it can be. I know, I don't know. Anyway, I'm trying to help. That's all. Do not feel obliged to listen while you read. Privilege reading, and you have to because we have to do those annotations. Now, after reading The Story of Your Life, please read the following 2 articles. So I have a story from Wired magazine. These are all very short. This is not the deepest. If you want to get into Sapir-Whorf with your answers, go ahead, get deep. Love it. But I want everybody to sort of be able to join the party here. So the Wired link is a simple one, and then there's a reading from a doctoral candidate. It's very simple. I mean, his notions, but I just wanted to give you a little bit more kind of technical background to that story, and then our discussion will also embody. Here's a link to the movie that was made. So that movie is Arrival. And through the generosity of our library, our class gets to just stream it. And that's why I'm asking you to open this on Monday. There's a lot. So the audio file is 2 hours, which means that if you were to read that story relatively slowly, it can take 2 hours. Then the movie is, about 2 hours. So we've got a lot on that. Because then we have these 7 questions, which you'll see, and you guys, I love watching you guys interact in the forum, so I won't read those for us, but that's the way our week's going to go. And then do Thursday week 4 thumbs up, thumbs down video. Now, I'm sure that I left those this week open so that people would realize, oh, what's this thing that's due week 4? The guidelines have been here for like the whole class. This week was open. And I'm sure I've mentioned it in a previous video, but purpose to explore the works of science fiction with an eye to theme, purpose, and meaningful analysis. See the rubric, 5-minute video guidelines. Yay, we get to see everyone's face. Successful videos should. These guidelines are obviously originally written to invite students in the class presentations. I repurposed my face-to-face stuff when I was throwing this online version together. But you know what? I really want to hear from you, and I want you to play this game called Thumbs Up, Thumbs Down. The directions of which are, the directions for thumbs up, thumbs down are, you know where they are, and I'm glad I'm just making a video, because now I'm suddenly really tired. They're in the week 5 actual paper guidelines, and I had to talk about that anyway. So let's go look there for them as well. They're very specific there. You know what? You can always call me. If you have any questions, you can call me. But now, do you see week 5 down here? Due Thursday, week 5, science fiction paper 1 guidelines. Those guidelines are right here. It says link to guidelines here. And in those guidelines, there are new and improved instructions for how to, here are more specific instructions to play this thumbs up, thumbs down. So I think my hope was that everybody would be really curious about that week 5 paper, that you would have read these already. So 1, navigate the LBCC library. 2, academic search Premier, follow search, log in, click the advanced search, scroll down, and then you get to see these, the results in front of you, 1,800 short stories. Your job will be to discover a short story author that you would like to research. Anyway, so you'll get to see that. There's that themes in science fiction link here, and then there's guidelines about that. And then I think somewhere down below here, there might actually be sort of a sample paper. So it's and the sample paper that I have, as I recall, isn't super boringly academic. I actually want you to find something that you love. So if at the beginning of week 4 you're like, good grief, that week 5 paper, and you haven't seen it, click it now. Jump to week 5, click that because it's due. And on Thursday of this week, you have to have found your story. So you can tell, huge week. It's a big week. No, but no bigger than should be. I think, remember in 2 weeks, we just read a 200-page book and discussed it. So, I think it all is manageable. Everybody's going to have a great time. And the Ted Chiang, the movie Arrival is amazing. And please do not click it first. Read the story. Read this. Just do it in the order that I have in the Open Monday, Do Friday. Read the story and then all that stuff. And then watch the, give yourself the pleasure of that. And don't wait, man. That movie is, we can't invite people over. Damn. If you live with people, you could invite them into the room because it's a beautiful movie. I'm hoping that a few of you have already seen it. So those are our links for the week. And I'm always here. I've enjoyed the conversations that I've had with a number of you who have kindly called. And I never know how long my videos are, and I apologize if they get too long. But if I didn't do them, I wouldn't be able to play with fun effects on my... No, it's not your business. You just want to speed through. I heard that you can double my voice so I sound like a chipmunk. Just go real fast. You can. Week 4. Can you believe it? You have to hold my... See? Do you get it? Also, this story features time, definitely not time travel. There's a big distinction, and I hope that there's room in the questions to talk about that. I hope you guys have fun with it. It certainly puts I think a more I was just thinking about Doctor Who, which is really about time travel. I'm sorry, but I think that this one story by Ted Chiang is richer. I hate to say people are going to go crazy if I say that it's rich. It's richer than 85% of all of the Doctor Who's produced since 2008. I'll say that. I mean it. It's true. A lot of the time, Doctor Who episodes become kind of like space operas. But very often they really are hard science fiction too. It's very interesting. Interesting show. And again, I think the thing is that just talking about any topic in science fiction is infectious to other topics in science fiction. So again, I really enjoyed sort of sharing that book, Brave New World, with you, and to watch your thinking about our world. And now I get to watch your thinking about our minds. So this is why science fiction, because it can go from totalitarian government to corporate entities making slaves of humanity, to how does language affect our mind and affect the structure of our mind and affect our consciousness and our perception of time and reality. It's a deep one. It's a deep one, and we need no pharmaceuticals. It's all on the page. It's all just science fiction. Have a great week, and I'll see you in the Moodle.